What's up, YouTube? I know I've been late. I know. But this is my official prediction on a vicious Victor Ortiz against Money Mayweather bout that's about to take place next September. Well, next Saturday, September 17, 2011, in Vegas. Um, let's just jump right into this shit. Um, I've been reading a lot of forums. I see people think Vicious is going to be too strong. He's going to be quick. He's going to be fast. Floyd has never fought a fighter that was young in his prime, which is a lie. He's never beat anybody like Victor. Victor can hit. He's a southpaw. Floyd has issues with southpaws. Victor's going to make him hit the ground. Victor's going to make him hit the canvas. You know, all of these things. Let's just jump into things. Victor Ortiz has knocked everybody he's been in the ring with down. My exception, I think Nate Campbell was a shove, but hey. He knocked everybody's down. He has power. He hits hard. Good left hand. Good uppercut, short uppercut. Good fighter in the inside. He can fight in the pocket very well. Pretty decent foot movement. Good power. Resilient. Nice chin. Can take a shot and get back up. He's young. He's youthful. He's 24. Floyd Mayweather. Goes without saying. One of the best pound for pound fighters, arguably. 34 years old. 25. He's 25 knockouts, 41-0, no draws, undefeated. Future Hall of Fame fighter, great defensive tactician, great jab. That does just is the epitome of the sweet science. Regardless if you love him or hate him, does just about everything right. And they're about to set the square off. Now let's just jump into it. Who do I think's win this fight? I'm going to say it instantly right here, and I'm going to say Floyd wins this fight. But I'm also going to tell you why I believe he wins this fight, and I'm going to tell you how later in the video. It's not what Victor Ortiz does well that bothers me about this fight. It's not. People think it's the power that he has that's going to equalize. It's none of that worries me about this fight. It's a few things that worry me about this fight, and I'm going to tell you what they are. It's not what he does right, it's what he does wrong that worries me about this fight. At times he gets wild, very wide with his shots, which is a problem for Floyd because he will be countered. At times he shows he can be outboxed. At times he shows he doesn't have a jab. He actually doesn't have a jab. And at times he shows that he's discouraged when the fight is not going his way. Lamont Peterson, Marcos Maidana. These are things that just tell me that him fighting Floyd is a bad decision. Other than the $2.5 million, that was good money he's getting out of this fight. Let's go over. I feel like the blueprint to beat Victor Ortiz is actually within 2 fights. And surprisingly, it's not the Maidana fight for Floyd because he's not a power puncher. Actually, I take that back. It's something that did happen in the Maidana fight, but it happened in also the Lamont Peterson fight. The 2 fights I would say are the Nate Campbell and the Lamont Peterson fight. And towards the later rounds, Lamont Peterson showed the ability to outbox Victor Ortiz. He showed that Victor Ortiz had an issue with about 4 punches that just so happened to be 4 of the main punches in Floyd's arsenal. The left hook, Floyd is known to lead with a left hook. The lead right hand, which is Floyd is known to counter with a lot, or counter right hand. The jab, which is Floyd is good at, and or overhand right. I noticed in the Lamont Peterson fight, he's a sucker for those punches. Whenever Lamont threw him, he would hit him with overhand right, lead right hand, the left hook, and then throw his jab, the short left hook rather. And he would hit him with it. Now the only issue I saw was Lamont didn't have the power, the punching power to finish, Victor Ortiz. But those are issues. The Nate Campbell fight, Nate Campbell defense, which is nowhere near Floyd's. He was able to stay in the fight, even though he didn't win it. He was able to make Victor work for his kill. But what I have noticed in the 24/7, and what it seems to me is Victor Ortiz, and by him working out, it seems like what he's trying to do is he's going to try to do what everybody else is trying to do, and that is basically put pressure on Floyd. Pressure is the wrong way to beat Floyd. All pressure does is contain Floyd. If you watch the fights where fighters put pressure on him, it contains him. His defense holds up to their pressure. All it does is make you work harder trying to pressure him. Pressure is the wrong way to beat him. This is my theory. When you are great at anything, basketball, football, basketball, football, boxing, MMA, whatever. If you're great, you can never be controlled. You can be contained. Michael Jordan could be contained. Instead of him scoring 40 points a night, you might contain him to 30. If you want to consider that a moral victory, then by all means, throw a parade. But you could never shut Jordan down to where he's only scoring 5 points. A great offensive fighter is going to get his off. A great defensive fighter is going to stop you. That's just what they're going to do. And that's how this relates to boxing. Floyd, if you look at his statistics and his numbers, they're always good. They're rarely horrible. And I don't think that's going to start with Victor Ortiz. Now, some people say he'll just punch through him and push through him and he can do it because he's big and strong. 41 have tried. I know that's cliche, but let's look at something. This is my saying. You don't play chess with a person when you can play checkers. And what I mean by that is, if I can run straight through you, I'm not going to box you. Just think about it. If you're playing basketball with a nephew or something, you say you're about 17 and he's about 10. You're not going to entertain the fact of playing basketball. You're going to use your size to get him out of the way. They're not going to entertain the fact, and that's what I look at boxing. If Floyd didn't have good defense, his power must. If his power is not knockout or hard, he has to have some type of pop that reminds people not to just charge in. The Mosley fight. Mosley was hit with a counter right hand that actually I seen shook him. He stopped trying to punch. You don't do that if I don't hit hard. Paulie Malignaggi, nobody. If the fighter he's fighting is stronger, they don't try to box him. They try to run straight through him, and that's just how I look at it. So that is the wrong way. But it looks like that is Victor Ortiz's game plan. His game plan. I seen him watching the Hatton fight, and they were talking about when Floyd stumbled back. Which, if you actually zoom in and look at that, I looked at it several times. Floyd was off balance. The shot didn't even land. They look at, this is how we're going to beat him. We're going to rough him up. I feel like if they go in there with that game plan, it's going to be a very, very bad game plan. I just look at when I analyze a fight, I look at who you had issues with and what, not necessarily who, but what kind. Were the issues, did the issues that you had, did they slow you down? Did they shut you down completely, or did you lose to those issues, or all of the above? Everybody that's Floyd's fault has the only issues I've seen with the Hatton and the Castile was the pressure. The pressure didn't stop him. The pressure just contained him. Not a containment to where you literally stopped him from going from 40 punches. From putting up 40 points to 10, but rather instead of him putting up 40, he's putting up 30, which is not a good way to look at it. But I have seen Victor Ortiz completely shut down, and in reality, had those knockdowns not happened against Lamont Peterson in the early rounds, Lamont may have very well walked away with the victory. So in short, where am I going with this video? I can offer two scenarios. The first scenario is Floyd beating him unanimous decision, and I don't see Victor winning more than 3 or 4 rounds. If Victor decides that he wants to brawl and leave himself open with those wide hooks and wide shots that he was throwing against Berto, who also gets wide. So that's why, styles make fights, and he gets wide too. So that's why a lot of people tend to look over those things. If he decides to get wide, the shortest point between two distances will always be a straight line. And Floyd's not going to get wide. He's going to shoot straight shots. If he gets wide and gets open like he did against Berto, I can see Floyd very well stopping Ortiz in 7 rounds. To me, it sounds cliche, but I have to ride with Floyd on this. It's up to Victor how he wants to get beat. You want to box, you get beat 12 rounds. You want to open up, then we'll make it a short night. Now, can Victor very well win this fight? It's possible. I don't think a misconception is Victor has knockout power. He has knocked down power. Almost all the elite fighters he's fought, he's knocked them down, not out. And so that's the misconception I have with Victor. He doesn't have knockout. There's a difference between knockout and knockdown. Yes, he could very well knock Floyd down. But do I see him knocking Floyd out? Not at all. Floyd's chin is better than Lamont Peterson. So my decision, I'm just going to say fuck it. I'm going to go with an 8-round stoppage for Floyd. It's true boxing. I'm out.